everyone, this is Trickywi, but you could call me Tricky, and today we're going to be covering the top 5 most anticipated Mega Evolutions for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. We have done countdowns in the past, so I figured why not bring them back. Anyway, I'd like to say that a few Pokemon are guaranteed to get Megas, but of course that might be the nostalgia talking, or I'm just blinded by hope, but there's nothing wrong with that I guess. However, there are a few facts that might hint otherwise, but in any case, we could still dream. You may or may not agree with me, but feel free to put what Pokemon you would like to see with a Mega Evolution in the comments below. In this countdown, I will be grouping some Pokemon together, so do not freak out if there's more than one Pokemon in a single spot. So, with all that out the way, let's go ahead and get started with our honorable mentions. First, we have Flygon, and I'm pretty sure violence might occur if this beautiful Pokemon does not receive a Mega. I'm serious. We already have a video that explains Mega Flygon, so be sure to check that out. Next is Milotic, or Melodic if you prefer, and we've already covered this Pokemon as well. And finally, the evolutions. Some evolutions really could use a Mega, considering how there's probably 2 considered to be decent competitive battlers, but I've spoken about them in detail on my own channel if you wanted to check that out. That is available. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to number 5. Taking our number 5 spot is the rest of the starters. This one was kinda obvious considering that 2 generations of starters have already received Mega Evolutions, and it really wouldn't make a lot of sense to people, including myself, if they didn't give every starter a Mega. I was honestly really surprised that the Kalos starters were not able to Mega Evolve, especially since Generation 6 was when this new game mechanic was added. Of course, I'm a little glad that they didn't, because that probably would have dissipated the hype of waiting for our favorite starters to receive Mega Evolutions. I'm sure that all of them will be covered in time, it's just a matter of waiting. Mega Evolutions of the Generation 2 starters would be so interesting, and I cannot wait for them, especially for Mega Typhlosion. I love Typhlosion. I wouldn't say I'm totally against type changes unless it really benefits the Pokemon's stats, but it also adds on weaknesses as well. But if I had to choose, I guess a fire and ground combination for Mega Typhlosion would be cool because it is the volcano Pokemon, and give it water absorb because that's totally not fair at all. And for Feraligatr, maybe water and dragon, and grass and fairy for Meganium. I like the types for the Generation 4 starters already, so I really wouldn't want them to change anything. I just want Torterra to be the most annoying grass type defensive wall. It would be beautiful. For Generation 5, I would want to see Serperior with a grass and poison type combination. And the Kalos starters, could you imagine a Mega Greninja? That is a scary thought. This is a brutal opinion, but maybe a Mega for Delphox might improve its design. I'm so sorry. Let's move on. Taking our number 4 spot is Gallade. And we already know that Gardevoir already has a Mega Evolution, and considering that Gallade is the male counterpart to that, you would think that Gallade would have one too. It's another one of those obvious ones that if this Pokemon gets one, the other one must get one as well. Mega Gardevoir is the best in special attack and special defense. So for Mega Gallade, its attack and defense should definitely skyrocket. I would love to see this Mega, and a lot of people would love to see it too, but let's have high hopes. It will be revealed one day. Taking our number 3 spot is the rest of the pseudo-legendary Pokemon. For those who may not be too familiar with the pseudo-legendary term, it's actually a fan-made term for Pokemon who have a 3-stage evolutionary line and a total base stat of 600. For Dragonite, which is an already excellent Pokemon in general, a Mega would be scary. I have a little feeling that Mega Dragonite would become illegal in competitive play in no time. The only reason why I would want it to have a Mega Evolution just relates to its design. I love Dragonite, but I've always felt like its design seemed very out of place in its evolutionary family, and I understand the origin of its design and everything, and it kinda makes sense, but I've always thought that Dragonair should have evolved into something else, while Dragonite was a part of a different evolutionary family. But regardless, I still love them. I've spoken about this on my own channel a few times, but I really want Dragonite to get a Mega, so maybe a few Dratini and Dragonair qualities can be included in its enhanced design. A lot of this fan art is absolutely perfect, and that's exactly what I would want to see. Plus, the stone would be hilarious. Dragonite. That is awesome. I love it. Steering away from design, again this Pokemon is already pretty bulky and speedy, but why not enhance it even more? For Goodra, I would want its Mega to become Dragon and Poison, because I think that would fit. And out of the pseudo-legendaries that needs one the most is Hydreigon. Sadly, due to its extreme weakness to Fairy, this Pokemon struggles a lot in competitive play. And I really want this Pokemon to receive one because I think it would help it a lot. This Pokemon is based off of King Ghidorah from the Godzilla franchise, which is a speedy, bulky, evil dragon of doom. Yep, I'm completely professional. And King Ghidorah eventually gets upgraded into Mecha King Ghidorah, which is basically an armored robotic dragon of doom. Yeah. Dragon and Steel type combination for Hydreigon, please and thank you. It would make sense due to its design origins, and it might be able to counter the dreaded Fairy type. Plus, adding on to its defense would be glorious. Moving on to number 2, we have Camerupt and Sharpedo. I feel like these are 95% guaranteed at this point. If they don't get one, I would be extremely surprised. These Pokemon are Team Aqua's and Team Magma's main powerful Pokemon. You can see in Archie's anchor necklace that there might be a Mega Stone in there, and for Maxie, you could kind of see the same thing in his odd looking glasses. But in any case, Camerupt is very underrated in my opinion, and giving it a Mega would definitely help it out. Water and Steel for Sharpedo would be very interesting as well, just because it would make a lot of sense because of its design, and typically torpedoes are made out of steel anyway, so make it happen. In 2002, there was actually an April Fool's joke that revealed a fake steel and water type, which had a very similar name to Sharpedo's Japanese name, so yeah, it could definitely be a possibility. Now let's move on to our number 1 spot. Rayquaza, Deoxys, and Jirachi. We already know that Groudon and Kyogre are receiving Primal forms, and it would honestly make a lot of sense for a Rayquaza to get a Primal form instead of a Mega form. Of course, that's another one of those guaranteed things that might be available to us anyway. They just don't want to reveal everything at once because the hype for the games would definitely die. If Latios and Latias received Megas, then I don't see why they wouldn't cover Deoxys and Jirachi as well. I could definitely see them with Mega Evolutions, but Jirachi seems like the more qualified Pokemon to receive one. It is an excellent competitive Pokemon in general, but let's just enhance it even more for kicks. So that is number 1, and as an added on bonus, here are a few more Pokemon that I would love to see with Mega Evolutions. If you want us to explain any of these Pokemon in more detail, request it in the comments below and we'll be sure to cover it for y'all. Also, if you enjoyed this countdown and you would like to see more, be sure to let us know. What do you want to see? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon related content. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Trickywi, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!